Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for saying I will never support my daughter again if she dresses up for court? My daughter Amber has been challenging since birth. She's never displayed any signs of empathy or remorse, and is completely uncaring about anything other than her own wants. We did everything we could when she was growing up. Therapy, specialists and regular contact with experts in her disorder. Amber studied well, but drifted away from us as soon as she got her first job. She kept in touch but rarely visited. Amber ran a scheme which targeted several elderly, disabled and vulnerable people and tricked them into giving away money. A few of the victims ended up dying with nothing, and Amber got some heavy criminal charges as a result. Amber was found guilty at trial, and ahead of her sentencing next month the judge denied her bail because she won't be getting anything other than prison time. I visited her yesterday to see how she was coping and see if she needed anything. Amber excitedly told me that some friends people who used to work for her had brought her clothes to wear to court. She said she planned to go to her sentencing in red bottoms and a tailored suit. I was completely shocked. Obviously she should wear something smart to court, but a tailored suit and designer shoes, like she's some big businesswoman, is sending all the wrong messages and doesn't exactly suggest she's humble or remorseful. Amber's argument was that she's looking at a long sentence no matter what, and so she may as well go out in style. I was sickened, and I made clear that if she shows up dressed to the nines, she won't be getting any support from me when she's in there or when she comes out. I said she'll never see me again, but she didn't particularly care. My husband sees my point, but he says that I know who and what our daughter is. He says we all know she isn't capable of remorse and that it shouldn't be fair to withhold support because of that. I'm well aware of that, but she has to at least try. How will it look to the victims if she shows up for sentencing in expensive clothes that she purchased by destroying their lives? The least she can do is look humble and look like she knows what she did was wrong. My husband thinks withholding support is too far. I disagree. She's my little girl and I will always love her. But her crime was horrific, and if she doesn't regret it, the very least she can do is try to look like she does to give comfort to the people she hurt. If she shows up to court in expensive clothes, she will never see or hear from me again. Am I the antagonist? It's extremely strange that, rather than her behavior, it's her clothing that make you want to smack her. It is perplexing. Yes, she does not, however, feel empathy or compassion to the same degree as people with neurotypical physiologies. You must realize that she won't alter at all as a result of this. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. NTA, but to be honest it kind of sounds like you needing to make her court outfit into some kind of last straw to give yourself permission to stop maintaining this relationship, which is what you want to do anyway. This is the most honest answer. At some point you have to realize she no longer deserves your support and that it's time to let go. You are justified in cutting off support without using this as a flimsy excuse. Am I the antagonist for wanting my husband to cancel his trip he'd been planning for 4 years? My husband, 27, been planning a trip for about 4 years with some close friends. The trip kept being postponed due to some of his friends having family deaths, financial issues and unfortunate world events. My husband is finally gonna be able to leave within 2 months. The issue I, 21, have with that is I'm pregnant and he is leaving near my due date. This is my first child and I don't want to go through childbirth alone. I don't have family other than my husband. My dad's died and my mom is mentally ill. I just want his support throughout the process. But he's making me feel really bad for asking him to postpone just trip so he can be here for his daughter and I. He told me that it's honestly not that big of a deal. He said when he was at the hospital for his son from a previous relationship that the birth only took an hour and that the nurse were very supportive. I also don't want to care for his son after I come home from the hospital alone. He plans on being away for a month and has sole custody. His son goes to his mom's every other weekend, but that's all. Sometime his mom won't even show up. He haven't made any plans on where his son gonna go after I come home from the hospital. His sister agreed to take him while I'm in the hospital, but she can't do any longer as she has a full-time job and doesn't want to take too much time off work. He told me I'll be able to handle everything by myself and begged to drop the issue because he'd been planning this for so long and he's really excited to go. He even offered to pay me for all the hardships and told me women take care of children after coming home from the hospital all the time. I do understand that this wasn't exactly planned and I feel awful about the whole situation. A huge part of me wants to just drop the issue and find a way to deal with everything by myself. I mean, his friends are calling me a wet blanket. I don't want to be a wet blanket and spoil everyone's fun. Am I the asshole here? One of the saddest status I've ever read is that he wants you to give birth alone and then care for his son thereafter. Make it clear that he must be present and that if he chooses that trip over you and his children, he is finished. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. So his friends can cancel the trip due to their issues, but you having a baby and being upset about him going away for a month makes you a wet blanket. That's nice that his son came in 1 hour, but that's not typical of labor. Anything can happen. Sounds like he is super selfish and has his priorities mixed up. If he can't put his child first before it's even born, it doesn't speak well of how he will be after. It takes two to make a baby and shouldn't be all your responsibility to take care of it. I also don't believe his son came in an hour. I would bet money dude's just telling on himself and he was only there for 1 hour of the labor. NTA. He's going to be away for a month when he has sole custody of his son right near your due date. This guy is seriously messed up. Even if you have the easiest delivery ever, and I hope you do, you deserve to have your husband, the father of your child, supporting you. You will need someone at home to take care of things as you adjust to taking care of your child. And I know no one likes to think about this, but if something goes wrong, he needs to be there. Good luck, Opus. I hope you find the support you deserve. Op could die or need an emergency C-section. Aren't like half of all births C-section? Just because X had a 1 hour easy peasy birth doesn't mean that's the rule. This man seriously discounts the amount of work and risk go into labor. Am I the antagonist? I want to abandon our kids for a vacation. My wife and I have 2 kids, 2F and 2 male. 5 years ago, my wife told me when we were trying for a kid that she wanted to quit her job as it was super stressful and she wasn't able to cope with the stress of both fertility treatment and her job. I was fine with it then, since I wanted her to be happy. However, as time passed, I had to start working harder so that I can get a promotion. I did manage to get a promotion and my salary nearly tripled. I was previously a back-end developer. I did a course on data science, some projects, etc., and got promoted to senior data analyst in a matter of 2 years. We bought a house in a really good neighborhood last year too. Of course I'm happy about the promotion, salary increment, what this means for our family, etc. But it has also taken a toll on our relationship because we hardly spend any more time with each other. Money is great, but I miss our bond more than ever now that our kids are also growing up. Back to the current situation. I thought it would be really nice for me and my wife to plan a long trip somewhere. My job allows me to take multiple casual leaves at a stretch, so I can apply for a 21-day holiday, during which we can go for a long trip, 10 days, to Bora Bora, just the 2 of us, and spend the rest of my holidays at each of our parents' homes. We can leave our kids with my parents while we are on the trip to Bora Bora. My wife has always wanted to go to Bora Bora, so I thought it's the ideal destination. When I explained my feelings to my wife, she said that she'd been feeling the same way, but was hesitant to tell me because I was already stressed at work, and she was super excited about us going to Bora Bora. However, when I told her that we can leave our kids at my parents' home, since neither of us would want to be behind our kids even on a vacation, she got mad at me and said that I'm willing to abandon our kids for the sake of a trip. She started to cry and went to sleep in the guest bedroom. Am I the antagonist? You should take a vacation. Since your children's birth, your wife has been caring for them non-stop. Find a compromise with her by talking to her. Tell her you're not leaving, just wanting some quality time with her. Comment by team member Taylor. Now for the top comments. NTA because I get it, but let me explain your wife's reaction a bit. Your children are aged 2. She is not ready to be gone that long or that amount of distance because 2-year-olds are still very emotionally attached to their primary caregiver/routine, and 10 days would likely create some emotional trauma for mom/children, even though they are with grandparents. She loves you and she wants to spend time alone again, but instead of whole hog at 10 days, maybe start with a day trip, then a weekend, then 3 days etc. so that your children/wife/grandparents can build upon the experiences. If you build this up slowly in the beginning, you will find that 10-day getaways become a yearly norm for you too. And getting away like that sounds super healthy for y'all's marriage. Good luck. This is the best advice I read here in this thread. The wife clearly wants us time with Op, but Op doesn't understand the necessity for the mother to not abandon her kids for such an extended period of time. With being 2 years old, this is totally understandable. So not the a-hole for the idea, but Op needs to work on his understanding of the needs of his kids while growing up. Now, however, I think you and your wife need to have a serious talk about how your family life is going. It sounds like your wife misses you too, but would most like to spend time with you and the kids. That what she thinks is most missing is fun family time, not fun couple time. You have to have both. Or maybe it's 10 days with your respective families. As a parent of young kids, I never found time in the grandparents' homes to be that much of a vacation. Am I the antagonist for having our daughter cook dinner once a week? I, 35 male, have a daughter, Rebecca, 15F, and I have to admit both my wife and I worked a ton. So we have money, and since we were both busy with work, we hired a maid and cook to come by twice a week. Well, a while ago both of us realized Rebecca doesn't know how to do much. So we changed what Sarah, maid, cleans. No more cleaning Rebecca's room or laundry. Rebecca was not happy about this, but she needed to learn how to clean up after herself before she went to college. Both of us then realized that Rebecca cannot cook at all either. She only knows how to make sandwiches and heat food up. We really dropped the ball on this, so we decided to have her cook dinner once a week. It started 2 weeks ago, and so far all Rebecca made was spaghetti and tacos. They are not difficult meals, so yesterday I gave Rebecca a recipe to follow. Chicken parmesan. She was in the kitchen for 3 hours making it. I have to admit it wasn't the best, and I commented that. Rebecca got really quiet and said, well, maybe if you actually taught me crap instead of throwing me to the wolves each time, I could do stuff. She picked up her plate and threw the food away. I then grounded her and she went to her room. I called my sister and she laughed and said I don't even know how to cook either, and that I'm ass for always throwing my kids head first. I have no objections about letting her prepare meals. However, you have no influence over what she prepares. Therefore it wasn't acceptable for you to complain about how awful the food was. You might want to think about eating her counsel and collaborating with her. PS. Grounding her at this location was excessive. Comment by team member Charlie. Now for the top comments. I didn't teach my child basic life skills and now I'm mad that she doesn't know basic life skills. AITA for literally not preparing my child for adulthood and getting mad at my child for my mistake. That's how the fuck you sound. Continued off of that. AITA for not preparing my child for adulthood and getting mad at my child for my mistake, and then laughing and demeaning her efforts when the result is anything less than perfect, and then also grounding her for being humiliated at my insults. Yes, you're the a-hole. You should be cooking with her and teaching her. Also, laughing and insulting someone doing something new is pathetic. Am I the antagonist for lashing out at my husband in front on everyone for calling my son a nickname? I'll preface this by saying that I 34 lost my late husband years ago to cancer. I have a 6-year-old son named Joseph. I met my now husband Tim, male 37, 2 years ago and got married recently. Tim loves Joseph, considers him as his own, and he has shown that many times. We don't normally have any issues except for this. Tim started a habit of calling my son a nickname Joey. My problem with this nickname is that it was used by my late husband for Joseph, and it is kind of special to him. I asked him to not use this particular nickname and he at first fought me off about it, then came around and stopped doing it. Days ago, I hosted dinner with my late husband's family. They visit regularly. We sat down for dinner and suddenly, Tim out loud said, "Hey Joey, could you pass me this plate please?" The whole room went quiet. I got all sorts of dirty looks from my late husband's family because they know this nickname was exclusively used by him. I looked at Tim and then lashed out at him loudly and in front of everyone, telling him that what he did was not okay and was a major overstep. He seemed shocked and said that he really wasn't paying attention and it was a slip up. I responded that I already warned him about it a million times yet chose to ignore it. He was red in the face. He got up, excused himself to the bathroom and stayed there. After the guests left, he started arguing that I embarrassed him, hurt his feelings, and went too far for scolding him publicly over a slip up. I said that I already told him about how my late husband's family feel about this, but he said that we should get over ourselves, especially since Joseph clearly doesn't care. We argued some more, then he and I stopped talking to each other. Joseph is frequently referred to as Joey. It was inappropriate for you to begin screaming at him in front of everyone. Rude and pointless. How would you feel if he overreacted to the mishap and treated you disrespectfully or humiliatingly? You need counseling because you have hurt those around you. Comment by team member Jordan. Now for the top comments. Honestly, AITA, I get that you lost your husband. His family lost him as well. But it's been years. Are you and his family going to lose it every time you hear someone refer to your son as Joey? You are projecting your pain on your current husband, and it isn't fair to him or your son. You got together with your current when your son was what for? Does your son have any memory of your first husband, him calling him Joey? I can't help but feel like, while your pain may be understandable, the way you handled it was wildly inappropriate, especially in front of your first husband's family, and with them all mean mugging too. I feel like there needs to be some more healing on yours end done. Like it or not, he is gone. Would he want the person who is now raising his son with you to be kept at arm's length because of something like this? I know what it is like to lose someone to cancer. Even years later you still feel the pain. But at some point, if you don't let it go, then the only thing you feel about that person is the pain of the loss. Is the memory of your first husband worth losing your second? You need to figure that out. And you need to have your husband's back if moments like this come up with your first husband's family in the future. You chose him. They didn't. It isn't surprising they didn't like this situation. What is the public tongue lashing you gave him in front of them about it. You preserved your past husband's extremely common BTW nickname at the expense of your now husband's feelings. This is much deeper than a nickname. I wish you luck figuring this out though. Edit. Thanks for the awards. AITA, you were the one who brought attention to Joey's nickname by blasting him at a family meal. Joey is not a patented or exclusive name. Yes, it is special to you. Your son is very young, and you have found someone who adores your child. Isn't that enough? What you are doing is making your new husband hyper aware of anything he utters is going to upset you, set you off, claim a memory is sacred, and perhaps push him away. Now that would hurt your son Joseph cause a bond has been formed. AITA, if your son is okay with it then it's no one else's place to have an issue with it. That's including you. I get you and your departed husband's family want to hold on to his memory for your son, but realistically your husband is the only father he's really going to know, and by you letting your dead husband's family insert their wishes like this, the only person you are hurting is your son. Am I the antagonist for kicking a disabled older woman out of our restaurant? I wish this didn't happen. It's a bit gross. Heads up. Yesterday, I was working a day shift at our restaurant. I'm a leader server, despite the title. I'm not an owner, and it's after the lunch rush. A few scatters of folk here and there. 3 tables full out of our 25 table dining room. A couple's up, and an elderly woman with a cane and a slightly younger woman, who I believe is her daughter, come in. The second they come through the door, I'm overwhelmed with the stench of crap. I can see through the elderly woman's white pants is full on diarrhea, emptying out her pants legs and smearing onto the dining room tile floor. Oh boy, I understand that. Pun intended. Shit happens. Especially while older. It takes them about 5 minutes to reach our bathroom. And I and several others are trying not to stare. But I can't help but see the trail of feces developing across the entire main section of the dining room. About 20 minutes later, they emerge and we all are expecting them to leave. Meanwhile my manager is giving me the eye of "You're the girl. You're responsible for cleaning that bathroom." Look. Fun times. I go to check out the bathroom and it's like a 5-year-old went to town with paint in there. It's actually on the walls and stall doors, and on the mirror and sink and door handle. I don't know how that's possible. I suck it up and clean with as much vigor as someone making 2.13 an hour can. And when I come back out to clean the trail in the dining room, bathroom was priority according to my manager. These women are sitting down in one of the booths. The elderly woman still remaining in her now brown, soaked fecal pants. And they want to order food and stay the whole visit. The daughter keeps glaring at me as if it's rude I should clean right now. As if I should wait for them to leave to do so. Yeah. I can deal with the stench, hardly, and can deal with the crap, literally, but that's also a major health code violation. Specifically, any sick or ill employees or customers, regarding vomit or fecal matter, must be removed from areas of food, storage or service. I told my manager I wouldn't serve them in that state. Not while they're here, and smearing fecal matter all over a food establishment, and risking other patrons' health and contamination. My rebuttal was met with "Have you no sympathy?" which I do. But this is beyond sympathy mo. If they want to stay, I put my foot down and told them we couldn't serve them right now and they left. The daughter cursed at me as they went back to their car and I ended up spending my entire shift bleaching the restaurant and cleaning feces off of every inch of the dining room. But am I the antagonist for kicking them out? It sounds like the old lady has a terrible daughter. And NTA and I feel terrible for her. That cannot be done while an elderly person is wearing soiled diapers. Yes. Feeding them and letting them stay for a time poses a health danger if this really did happen. Comment by team member Alex. Now for the top comments. NTA. Your manager should have stopped them at the door. This. Like, did he expect that the other guest eat while someone paint the restaurant brown? And it smells so yummy. Having one paying guest, but losing the rest. NTA. But I also would have quit before cleaning a shit covered bathroom. My partner walked out of a job for this many years ago. Minimum wage is not enough to make him clean up a fucking biohazard, shit tornado stricken bathroom. I cannot blame him.